And I have to remember to shut Facebook down in some of these other profiles, or else I will get that feedback. All right. So I believe we are good to go. Again, if you are joining us, just joining in, I am H Cortez, also known as a financial health mentor to the Black community. And what I love to do is teach Black folks about how money works in this country so that they can get themselves out of debt and start to build wealth for their family. So that's what I'm all about. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. We're a few minutes away from the top of the hour. So just sit tight for just a moment and we will get started momentarily. I'm just going to bring up my Facebook profile on my phone so that I can make sure that we're seeing everything okay. So if you guys are checking us out on Facebook, type in the comments where your name and where you're from. Okay. So if you guys are there we go. All right, Anitris, Otis, and also Gerwin Holland. Appreciate you guys for tuning in via the Facebook app. If you guys are tuning in to the actual live webinar, then do me a favor and type in the chat where you're from. And we're going to go over this framework to show you guys what we call the bloody mess and let you know exactly what credit card companies and banks are actually doing to us. So if you want to get yourself out of credit card debt, it starts with educating yourself on how that whole system works so that you can then make the proper adjustments. So who else do we have? State your name and where you're tuning in from, whether you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube. Or the actual live webinar. Austin, Texas for Anitris. Appreciate that, Anitris. Glad to have you on the webinar today. We're going to talk about credit card debt, man, and what it's doing to you and how you can avoid what I like to call the credit card trap, right? So let's see. Who else do we have on board? Anybody else want to type in the chat where you're from and your name? Dyersburg, Tennessee. Kevin Shaw, appreciate it, bro. Glad to have you a part. If you are trying to figure out what banks are doing to us as it relates to credit cards, you are in the right place at the right time. We're not only going to help you to understand what's going on, but we're actually going to give you some solutions. So if you've been following me at all, you know that I love solutions, right? It's cool to talk about the problems, but sometimes we talk about the problems so much that we literally make the problem so big that we don't want to attack it. Sandra Culver, St. Louis, Missouri. Okay, you're in St. Louis with me. Good deal, good deal. Arthur Triggs, North Brunswick, New Jersey. Appreciate you for tuning in. Just state your name and where you are from, and we're going to get right into this presentation that we have, in which we want to help you understand how to avoid the credit card trap. If you're not in it, if you're already in it, we want to help you figure out how to get yourself out of it. But that starts with education. Greg Perrine out of St. Louis, Missouri. Also another St. Louis, and I appreciate you, bro. I am here in St. Louis. I was born in Tupelo, Mississippi, but actually raised here in the St. Louis area since about the age of 9. Went to Wellston, graduated I went to Sodan and Wellston High School, ended up graduating out of Wellston. It's pretty much where I grew up. A little bit of time spent in the Pineline Hills there area. Steve Allen, Orlando, Florida. Good to have you. Good to have you. So are you here because you have credit card debt you're trying to get rid of, or are you here to learn about what banks are doing to us by way of credit card debt so you can educate others? Cornelia is out of Rocky Mountain, North Carolina. Appreciate it. Stacy Gladden out of St. Louis, Missouri. Hey, Stacy, I know a lot of Gladdens, man. We might know some of the same people. You might even be related to some of the people that I know. The Gladden family over there in Wellston, where I grew up and went to school. So yes, yes. Okay, Anitra, it's good. You don't have credit card debt, but you're trying to learn so you can teach others. Awesome, awesome. Who else? Or are you here because you're trying to overcome some credit card debt, or you're trying to learn some things so you can teach people, especially our children? Let's teach our children how to not get in this mess to begin with, right? And then those in our families, because the deal is when you understand that in order to get out of debt, one of the or in order to build wealth, one of the first things we have to do is get out of debt, right? Stacy says family, good deal, good deal. So, all right, so we are 3 minutes past the top of the order. Good morning, wants to learn. Okay, good, good. So we're gonna go over a little worksheet that my mentor has put together that really paints a clear picture of what credit card debt is doing to us. Sandra says she wants to do both. I see Miss Bonetta out of Bear, Delaware. Good, glad to have you guys on board. So if you're on Facebook, keep the hearts and likes coming. And also you can communicate with me via Facebook because I can see the actual chat. So as you're coming on, just introduce yourself, what part of the country you're tuning in from. And we're gonna go ahead and get started, man. We're gonna make this thing happen this morning. So let me bring my slide presentation up first, and then I will share my screen here second. Well, I guess I can't do it that way. So let me share my screen first, and then I can go to full screen with my slide deck. All right, so share screen. I want to share my desktop, go into my actual presentation, and then let's start the presentation. All right, so my name is H Cortez, also known as the Financial Health Mentor to the Black community, where I do my best to bring practical, proven wealth building strategies to working men and women all over this great nation of ours. And really my heart is for helping the Black community get out of a lot of the problems that we're having, because I know that a lot of them stem from economic discord. We've got to learn how to get our money right, point blank, period. And a lot of the other issues will solve themselves if we first get money as an issue out of the way. So how to get out of the credit card trap if you're in it, and the subtext should be how to avoid it if you're not in it. And building wealth for me has never been so fun. Jay Turner, my man, appreciate you tuning in. Give me a call, bro, when you get some free time, man. I love to chat with you. So let's just go to the presentation. At this point, you want to go ahead and silence any distractions that you may have. Silence your cell phone. I wouldn't dare tell you to turn your cell phone off, especially if you have children like I do. As parents, we all dread that call that we might sometimes get where something is going on with the children, right? So you can't turn it off when you got children, but you can silence it so that it's not beeping and the Facebook chimes aren't dinging and all of that kind of stuff. And if you can get to a place where you can just relax a little bit, pull out a pad and some pen, paper and take some notes, I think it's really going to benefit you this morning. So the agenda is this. We're going to talk about credit card debt. We're going to talk about how real interest is actually calculated and how the banks are really, I won't say robbing us because these are things that we signed up for, but in a sense, we don't always get full disclosure, right? We don't understand or have the ability to go through all of that fine print. And then a lot of those credit card contracts say they have the right to adjust interest rates and payments and all of that stuff whenever they feel like it, right? And then we're also going to talk about how to eliminate credit card debt. And then we're going to give you an opportunity to speed up that process if you so desire. So who am I? I am, again, H Cortez, also known as the Financial Health Mentor to the working class and the Black community. And I am a wealth strategist, author, serial entrepreneur, man. Literally, since I was old enough to wield a rake and push a lawnmower, I have been trying to grind my way to success. But then I ran into some mentors, and when I admitted that I needed some help financially, and I began to learn that to build wealth is more so about strategy than it is anything else. So I started applying some simple strategies in my life. They worked really well for me, that I declared that I put all of my other businesses on the back burner and said, this is where I'm going to focus in bringing the Black community economic empowerment and helping to raise the collective financial literacy of our family. So as you can see, not only our family, but our collective family as a Black family, you can see that I'm the father of 5 sons, married to this beautiful little lady right here. And all my life, man, of all the things that I've done for the last 20 years, I've been known as either Letha's husband or that dude with them 5 boys, right? And to be quite honest with you guys, I can't even tell you which one I'm more proud to answer to, because it is my humble opinion that as a man, I can't do anything greater than to be an excellent husband to my wife and father to my sons or to my children. And then that sometimes I realize that I struggle doing them both really well at the same time. And sometimes I'm a good father and an excellent husband. Other times, like now, I'm so busy in my business, I'm just an okay husband and an excellent father. So I'm struggling to figure out how to find a balance to do them both at an extremely high rate at the same time. And I'm also a youth basketball coach. I love to mentor and coach and really uplift, motivate, and encourage others. So I do that with the youth in our community through the sport of basketball and physical training and things of that nature. So why financial education and why it's so important to me? Point blank, guys, again, this goes back to where we are as a people collectively in the Black community. We have to learn how money works personally first and foremost. And when you can get money as an issue out of the way personally, then you can buy your time back, and then you can use that time to start helping to rebuild a community, to help do some mentoring, to help raise some other children, to do a lot of things. But you guys may be able to attest to this, but when you are struggling financially, man, sometimes it just takes everything out of you and you just don't want to do anything else. No matter how positive or how productive it could be, you just don't want to do it because you're beat down financially. The other reason is because we can't operate businesses effectively when we don't understand how money works personally, because chances are we will take those negative financial habits, money management habits into our businesses. And that's the real reason that 90% of businesses fail. Not that they don't have good products and services, not that they don't have customers. It's more so because they have poor money management skills. They don't know what to buy, when to buy. They don't know how to start small and then scale up. So all of that has to do with money management. So I like to say it like this. If you can successfully manage the money that flows through your home, then chances are you can successfully manage the money that flows through your business as well. And then the third reason I love financial education and why I'm so heavily involved and invested is because we have to model a better way for our children. We have to show our children a better way. So what I want to show my children is how to be financially literate and how to live and exist in a world that causes you to want to be a mass consumer. But I also want to model to them entrepreneurship. So I've combined the two and created a financial education business where I'm learning these principles myself, but also earning an income from teaching other people. So we're going to talk about by the numbers, right? The average interest rate for credit cards in this country is right around 15 to 16%. Now, if the average is 15 to 16%, then that lets you know that there's got to be an interest rate that is way higher. And then some people have interest rates that are a little bit lower, especially those introductory rates at 0%, right? What is the highest a bank can charge in interest rates for a credit card? Can you believe 79%? Really, it's unlimited. But the latest study that I just read it referenced 79% as long as the bank will give full disclosure. And we know how banks give full disclosure, right? Page after page after page of stuff in a 0.6 font that you can barely read, right? And that might cover 14 pages or something. That's how they give full disclosure. So you have to be aware of these things. And then what about the average credit card debt in this country? Is hovering right around $16,000 for people who are carrying credit card debt. The average is about $16,000. So again, if the average is $16,000, we know that there are some people like me who have no credit card debt. And then there are some people who have 40, 50, 60, $70,000 in credit card debt to get an average around 16,000. And then the average American has 2 to 3 credit cards. And this isn't even including department store cards, your Best Buy, your Macy's cards, your Nordstrom's, and those cards. And they all operate on the same principles because technically they're all issued by one of the major banking establishments. So what I want to go over today is called the bloody mess, right? I want to show you what a $5,000 credit card could do for you if you're just making the minimum payments, and more importantly, what it does for the bank and why you have to get yourself out of this trap. So at the top, I don't know how well you can read this, but if you can't read it that well, I know especially when I get to doing the numbers, I have some small spaces that I have to insert these numbers into, but I just want you to pay attention to what I say, and then you can maybe, if you want, just send me a text or an email, and I will send you the completed version of this form in an actual regular size that you could literally read the numbers, right? But I want to read this quote from my mentor, Ivy Stokes. Now, here's a guy who took a $10 investment and flipped it, as Dame Dash would say, to over $600 million in cash flow. So is that or is that not a good person to listen to as it relates to money, credit card debt? You better believe it. So he says, interest is the penalty you pay for the right to own something in advance that you cannot afford. I'm gonna read it one more time. Interest is the penalty you pay for the right to own something in advance that you can't afford. And I want you to think about how profound that is. I want something now that I can't afford to pay for. I want it so bad that I'm not only going to pay full price for it, but I'm going to pay full price and then some just for the right to own it now. Right? Makes me think about the rental centers and national rental owns where you rent stuff weekly, right? Just for the right to own it now, I'm going to pay $10,000 for a $200 couch, right? I'm going to pay $500 for a $50 tablet, right? The penalty you pay for the right to own something in advance that you cannot afford. Powerful, powerful stuff. So let me get into exactly how the numbers play out. So this is the typical American in credit card debt right now. This is what's happening to them, right? Oh, crap. So what I'm going to have to do is go back, and I'm going to have to reduce this even smaller. Sorry, folks. Because in order to put my numbers in, I have to do it in this method. So just listen to the numbers as I plug them in. So you have a credit card balance and you owe $5,000 on that credit card balance, right? Typical, you know, that $5,000 could have been on a trip to Disney that you put on a credit card. That $5,000 could have been on a, I don't know, a living room set or a bedroom set at Rothman's or one of your favorite furniture stores, Ashley Stewart or something like that, right? $5,000 is a typical balance on a credit card here in America. Let's see, what you're paying monthly, the minimum fee on that credit card payment is $100 per month, right? And again, if you can't see the numbers because they're small, don't worry about it. Just listen as I say them and you're taking them down. Now, we're going to put the interest rate for this card at 21%. Now, we know that the average is right around 15 to 16%. So there are some lower, but we also know that there are some higher. So we're going to put the interest rate at 21%. Now, here's what you have to understand when you're calculating the percentage of your credit cards. And when we're done, I want you to go get your credit cards, and I want you to do this little exercise with each credit card you own so you can calculate exactly how much of your monthly payment is going to principal and how much is going to the interest, right? So at a 21% credit card in order interest payment, in order to get or calculate the monthly interest rate, then we have to divide our 21%. We have to divide that by, of course, 12 months, right? And that's going to get us a monthly interest rate of 1.75%. Again, if you can't see this, it's small, I'm sorry, but just listen to the numbers as I plug them in. So 21% divided by 12 months gets us a 1.75% monthly interest rate, right? So in order to calculate the interest payment, so we must first convert that decimal into a percentage, or convert that percentage into a decimal, so it would actually turn out to be 0.175%. And then you have to multiply that 0.175% times the $5,000, so times 5K, and you will get your monthly interest payment of $87.50, right? Now, let's remember here, we're paying $100 per month minimum on this credit card that we borrowed $5,000 on. So if $87.50 is going to the monthly, is going to the interest, then you guessed it, only $12.50 is going towards your principal payment. Now, let's be clear as to what we're really saying here. What we're saying here is, I borrowed $5,000. I'm going to pay $100 a month on that balance, but really I'm paying $12.50 to that $5,000, and I have to pay that until I reach the $5,000. So in other words, I'm paying $100 a month, but I'm really paying this credit card off in $12.50 increments. So what is the reality of that? The reality of that is that the 5K divided by $12.50 is going to equal 400 months. You guys see how this whole system gets you and breaks you down? Since I'm only paying $12.50 towards the principal payment, it will take me 400 months to pay back $5,000. Now, just for those of you who can't do the math that quickly, we're going to divide our 400 months by 12, and that's going to get us 33 years. 33 years from now, you're not even going to remember the trip to Disney, right? 33 years from now, you're probably on your 5th or 6th living room set, right? So that's what we're talking about, is 400 months is 33 years to pay back a $5,000 credit card balance if you only make the minimum payments, right? And keep in mind, the average American has 2 to 3 of these. And if the average has 2 to 3, you got to account for people like me who have none. And then you have to account for people who have 6 or 7, right? Excuse me, to get to the average. So that's why we call it a sentencing. So you're being sentenced to 44 months or 33 years of chattel payments of $1,250, of $100 a month to pay back that $5,000. So here's what the bank earns off that money. The bank, remember, is getting $87.50 of that money each and every month. And again, that is going to take 400 months to make that payment. So in other words, the bank is making $35,000 off that $5,000 loan. $35,000 off that $5,000 loan. So now that we have the numbers all filled in, I'll go back full screen, and that way you can read it a little bit more clearly. So just to recap, you took out a loan, or you use a credit card and you max it out at $5,000, right? Your monthly payment was $100 a month. Your monthly interest, or your interest payment on that, is 21%. So in order to find out your monthly interest rate, you divide the 21 by 12 months, and that gets you 1.75%. Now, in order to calculate the monthly interest payment, the monthly interest amount, you have to convert the percentage to a decimal. So now the 1.75% becomes 0.175. You multiply that by the balance of $5,000, and that's going to get you $87.50. That's right, folks. Out of $100 payment that you're paying to your credit card company, $87.50 is interest, $12.50 is principal. So if we do the math and look at the reality of this situation, out of a $5,000 loan or balance, you divide that by $12.50, that equals 400 months. It'll take you 400 months to pay that loan off if you're paying just $100 or the bare minimum. And then 400 months divided by 12 equals 33 years. Who wants to borrow $5,000 and it take them 33 years to pay it off? And then here's why your banks love you so much. And here's why they do you a favor and set your monthly minimum so freaking low. Is because the lower the monthly minimum, the less you're paying towards your principal, the more you're paying in interest. And in this case, $87.50 times 400 months equals $35,000. That's what's happening to us when we don't understand our banking situation. So if you're serious about getting yourself out of credit card debt, you can certainly do it, and we have some solutions for you that will help. So again, this system, this worksheet, we like to call the bloody mess, because most Americans don't see themselves bleeding out. This is exactly what you're doing. You're bleeding out, paying the bare minimum on 3 or 4 or 5 different cards, and not realize that you're paying a total of $35,000 per $5,000 balance if you're at somewhere around a 21% interest. And then remember, some people are at 27, 28, 34% interest on a credit card. So imagine what's happening to them, right? But I wouldn't dare bring you onto this platform to talk about doom and gloom only. We actually have some solutions, and we call it Project 1000. Project 1000 is going to take 1,000 families, put you in your own financial education franchise, teach you how to get out of not only credit card debt, but all debt, so that you can free up the cash you need to start investing in your future. So give me a thumbs up if you're checking us out on Facebook. And if you are the type of person that says, I am sick and tired of every one of our Black generations having to start over from scratch. I'm so done with that. Every generation has to start over from scratch. And what we don't see in this country, we look at race as prejudice. Racism and prejudice are 2 different things. Prejudice is I don't like you, and I'm going to use everything in my power to keep you from doing whatever that you want to do, advancing, because I don't like you. Racism simply says this: we are all in a race for world domination, every culture on this planet. Problem is, when it comes to the Black community, we are the only ones in a psychological, economic, physical, and emotional war. And when we step onto the battlefield, we treat it like a playground. We've got to do better. So we're tired of running this relay race, and every time I pass the baton to the next generation, that person who receives the baton says, nope, you stop right here, and you go all the way back to the starting line, and then you can start running as hard as you can to see if you can catch up. We've got to get beyond that, and here's how we're going to help you do that. First of all, let's take a look at a simple strategy to help you overcome debt situations. Right now, this could be credit card, it could be multiple credit cards, but as you see, we have a car note, credit card, and a mortgage company. Now, if you partner with us in Project 1000, it is extremely safe to say that we could help you guys free up, between our tax minimization strategies, between our business income strategies, we can help you free up about $600 per month. And how could you use that to eliminate debt? It is simple, my friend. This could be a car note, this could be your Visa card, this could be an American Express or whatever, but you got a $17,000 balance that you're already paying $545 on. That $17,000 balance, now that we've helped you free up an extra $600 in cash flow every month, we're going to add that to the $545 and pay the card note $1145 every single month. Now the card note disappears in 15 months instead of 32. Now, what that does though, it frees up an additional $545 in cash flow. So now we have an extra cash flow of $1145. Now, it'd be a good time to go out and get a new bag every month, ladies, if you're into that kind of thing. But no, don't do that. Don't do that. Fellas, I see a lot of people on here from St. Louis, and yes, they got a rent-a-rim spot right over there on page 170. You can rent a new set of rims for your whip every single month with an extra $1145, right? But that's not where we want to go with it. We're going to take that $1145 and then we're going to apply that to the Visa card balance. So we're already paying $200 a month to Visa. So now we're going to add the $1145 to it and pay them $1345 every month. Now the Visa card disappears in 6 months instead of 78. 6 months instead of 78. And what that has done is added another $200 to our cash flow. Now we're at $1345. $1345 again. You might at this point take a couple months off and say, hey, I'm gonna use $1345 in June and take my family on a trip. In July, I'm gonna use $1345 and buy $1,000 worth of fireworks. That's cool, I get it. Sometimes we don't always want to do the right thing when we have the ability to. Sometimes we want to celebrate a little bit, and I get it. But come August, we're going to take that $1345 and add it to our $1,200 a month mortgage payment and start sending the mortgage company $25.45 every month. And now the mortgage disappears in 79 months instead of 360 months. Do you guys see how just infusing a little bit of cash with strategy can get you out of debt in a short time? So what have we done? What's the total summary of this thing? We've paid off $225,000 worth of debt. We've done it in 8 months. Now we're debt free, including our mortgage. We've freed up freed up cash flow by eliminating $1,945 worth of debt per month. And now we have an available cash flow of $25.45 every single month with no debt. And here's what you got to remember. The name of the game is to position ourselves so the next generation doesn't have to start over. Imagine just taking half of that $25.45 a month. Maybe now you want to take that that $1,200 and go get you a new bag every month, ladies. Maybe now you want to go ahead and take that $1,250 every month, fellas, and go switch up the rims on the whip every month, right? But you got $1,250 now that you can also start putting into a retirement account. You got $1,250 now that you can take a portion of it and make sure you got a life insurance policy for the kids. Make sure you got an emergency fund in place. See, now you have the leverage of a positive cash flow cycle. And that's extremely powerful because we as Black people ain't never had a get money problem. We some of the money gettingest people on this entire planet, right? But you know the old saying goes, it ain't about what you get, it's about what you keep. We have a problem keeping money, or another way to say it is we have a cash flow problem in the sense of too much of our cash is always flowing away from us, right? We want to get that cash to flow back towards us so we can do something with it and start building legacies for our families, right? So if you were to decide to partner with Project 1000 and work with our team of wealth strategists, multi-millionaires are teaching us these strategies and how to make this all work. I just want to give you an idea of what a financial education franchise could do for you just by being in business. Not talking about making a whole lot of money in business. Just by being in business, you're going to put yourself in a better position financially. So as a business owner, you're basically having the ability to minimize your taxes by writing off a percentage of your lifestyle. So let's just take a look at how this looks as a person who works a job, makes $50,000 gross, but don't have a home-based business. That person is going to work first. They're going to pay taxes second of $18,000, and then they're going to try to live off the net of 32. Now, how many of you guys know that when people have a $50,000 gross, even though they don't bring home $50,000, chances are they still want to live a $50,000 lifestyle? And the only way to do that is to borrow $18,000 to get back to the 50. But again, what you borrow, you must pay back. So most people are taxed $18,000 and then paying $18,000 a year in interest payments to service or manage their debt. So they're literally trying to live off $14,000, right? That's a person who works a job only and does not have a business. 95% of people in this country make 100% of their income with their labor. And how you make your money in this country determines how and how much you're taxed in this country. And when you're making money with labor, you're taxed the absolute most, period, of anybody and everybody. You just tax the most. As a business owner, then you're taxed roughly 18 to 23%. The tax on an employee is about 28 to 33%. But here's what changes. As an employee, you work first and you tax second. As a business owner, your business works first, your business gets to spend second, then your business pays taxes on what's last. How does that look for somebody in Project 1000 with their own financial education franchise? Here's how it looks. You already have a mortgage or rent to pay. You already have a cell phone bill or an internet bill to pay. You already have utilities, whether you have a home-based business or not, you're going to pay a light bill every month. You're going to feed yourself and your children every month, right? At least I hope. I try to get my kids at least one meal a day, right? They don't got to eat 3 times. Who said they came up with that stuff? They feed them at least 1 time a day and they're good, right? You're going to entertain yourself. You're going to travel. You're going to do all of these things, whether you have a home-based business or not. Add a financial education franchise to what you're doing, and you're going to be able to get educated on how the money works, how capitalism works in America. But more importantly, you're going to be able to add a 1099 code to your W-2. In other words, now you get to play the tax game from the other side. See, the tax code was written for business people by business people. Therefore, in order to take full advantage of them, you better get in business for yourself, right? I like to say it like this. The game is rigged, but it's fair at the same time. Now, I know you don't understand. How could something be rigged and fair? Well, it's rigged in the sense that all of the laws are written in favor of business owners, investors, and property owners. It's fair in the sense that anybody can become an investor, a property owner, and a business owner, right? So you want to get yourself in position to take advantage of the tax code, which in my opinion is the #1 wealth building tool in the entire world, right? So when you have a business, now a percentage of all of the things that you're spending on right now becomes legal, ethical, and moral tax deductions, as long as you're working your business regularly, you're trying to make a profit, and you keep good records. So here's the difference. Here's that same person who works a job, but now they've added a home-based business. They still make the same $50,000 per year, but because they have a home-based business, now they get to spend first, which they spend $18,000 a year on their lifestyle, which a lot of that is tax deductible. So now they pay taxes on their net, which is $32,000. So they are taxed $32,000, which means instead of being taxed $18,000, this is a typo. They're actually taxed $11,000, which is a savings of $7,000, right? Or they're taxed $7,000 instead of $18,000. Which is a difference. So in other words, they save $11,000 per year in taxes, which breaks out to $900 a month or $225 per week. And guess what? Let me lean in on this one. They haven't even made any money in their business. This is just for starting a business and attempting to make a profit. You could save yourself $11,000 per year. Now you see why a business is part of Project 1000 and our whole wealth building platform and strategies. So you might be thinking to yourself, what can I do to become a part of Project 1000, right? So here are some things that you can do. Chances are you're a 3, a 2, or a 1. A 3 says, man, you talked a lot and said a whole lot of nothing, not interested. That's cool. A number 2 says, I not only need the debt elimination program, I not only need to figure out how to get these credit cards under control, but I need to be educated on wealth building principles and strategies all together. Great. You can plug in with us. It says $179 on the slide and $35 a month. For the next couple of days, it's actually going to be $129.95. And in fact, if you don't take advantage of this special promotion, then we're going back to our regular price, which is actually $199.95, right? So you can plug into us, get the wealth building strategies in the system and our financial success membership. And that's your focus. That's cool. We'll put you on a game plan to make sure that you learn these strategies and start building wealth month over month over month over month. That's a number 2. Get back with the person who invited you to this webinar, or type number 2 in the chat, and I'll get you some additional information, get your questions asked and answered, and get you started. But then you might be a number 1. A number 1 is somebody like me who says, I realize the plight in the Black community. We not only need to get money as an issue out of the way personally, but somebody will have to become an ambassador and get out here and teach people exactly how to do it. So comment in the chat if you think this is a simple strategy that anybody can use. See, the thing about strategies and formulas is it doesn't matter who's applying them. As long as you apply them correctly, you're going to get the same results. See, some businesses are sales focused. The problem with sales focused businesses is some people have STD when it comes to sales, right? And no, I'm not talking about a sexually transmitted disease. Some people are literally scared to death when it comes to sales. So we decided to make our model based on strategies that anybody can apply, point blank, period. You apply the principles and the formulas the same way everyone else does, you will get the same results that everyone else is getting. Is that fair enough? Also, with your payment of getting into the Project 1000 and becoming an ambassador with us, if you decide either strategy 1, or if you're number 1 or number 2, you're going to get your own website. You're going to get our cash flow management software, our cash flow strategist software. You're going to be able to earn commissions, and you get a whole tracking system in your back office that allows you to run your business. You also get branding and marketing coaching through Beast Mode Branding and Marketing Academy to show you how to build and set up your franchise so that you can have success. And then that number at the top, if you want to take a screenshot of the slide, just understand that you can call that number tonight, 8:55 p.m. Eastern time, to get more information on this entire system and how we can help you build wealth from scratch. So with that, guys, appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat on the actual webinar, or if you're checking us out on Facebook and you have questions, go ahead and type your questions now and we can do a quick Q&A, but I want to be a respecter of your time and let you get out of here on time, but I definitely want to take questions. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat on the actual webinar, or if you're checking us out on Facebook, type them in the comment box below. If you're seriously looking at this as a way for you to get out of credit card debt, as a way for you to start eliminating debt in general, as a way for you to make some extra money, as a way for you to learn these strategies so you can then go out and teach them to others, then I want you to comment Project 1000 or comment whether you're a number 1 or a number 2 so we can know where to go from here. If we got any number 1s or number 2s out there on Facebook, just comment a number 1 or number 2 and I will get in touch with you. If you're checking us out on the webinar, comment number 1, number 2. You can even comment a number 3 if you're number 3. I mean, that's okay. My goal is to educate you on how money works. It's up to you to do your research and to decide whether or not you want to partner with us, whether or not this is a good fit for you, whether or not you're going to literally be able to run with us and apply these strategies, exercise the discipline, allow yourself to be held accountable so we can put you in position so that your next generation doesn't have to start from scratch. Makes sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, Craig, I'll get you some additional information. Inbox me a number where I can call you and we can follow up immediately after this, right? Anybody else have any questions or want to state boldly and publicly that this makes sense to you and you'd like to get some additional questions answered? That's all we want to do is answer your questions, because we want you to be 100% confident in the decision that you make. Whether the decision is to partner with us or whether the decision is to walk away from us, we just want you to be able to make that decision with confidence. Any questions on the chat, in the actual Hangout? You can go into the Q&A box or you can just type in the chat. Either way, any additional questions on Facebook Live before we end this session? You say, bro, you're good at what you do. I appreciate that, Curtis. Just trying to educate our people, man. We have to, we have to start taking this economic piece seriously, right? We can march, we can yell, we can scream, we can protest, but guess what happens when we protest, bro? We go into Walgreens and we spend our money on the poster boards and stuff so we can make signs to protest. So even in our protests, they're getting richer and richer. We've got to change that, man. We've got to do something different, man. So, that's why I'm so passionate about what I do. That's why I need crusaders like you to partner with me so we can all get educated and we can create an army of financial educators and start creating little hubs all over this country and start teaching how to literally bring financial literacy, education, and awareness into our community. The financial services industry is a $4 trillion industry. $4 trillion, and we're not even in it. Got a few people who got jobs in some financial institutions. Got a few people who are insurance agency agents and things of that nature. Got a few people that have businesses that own stuff. $4 trillion industry, right? She said, I owe about $4,400 balance on my car. How can I get that paid off for less? So one of the things that you can do, Sandra, if you want to partner with us, the first thing that we're going to do is review your W-4 form to see if you're overpaying taxes on your job. Chances are you are, because the percentages says that 8 out of 10 people are overpaying taxes. Most people who partner with us in Project 1000 increase their take-home pay by average of $200 to $400 per month. If you fall into that category, we will then allow you to use you'll plug into our system, use our software to put that in, and you start taking that extra $200 to $400 a month and giving it to the car note. And if you're paying an extra $200 to $400, so you're paying your regular car note, the extra $200 to $400 goes directly towards principal. So that's how you eat up that car note a lot faster. So definitely consider plugging in with us. We want to show you how debt elimination actually works and how you can partner with us. And we teach you how to increase your take-home pay on your job. We teach you, if you want to learn, how to start building business income so that maybe we help you get $200 to $400 back on your job through your paycheck. Then we show you how to make an extra $400 or $500 per month doing what we do. Now you got an extra $800 a month to throw to that car note and make it disappear a lot faster, right? Then we're going to ask you to review your expenses. Maybe you got something that you can live without for the rest of the year, something to the tune of $100 a month. If you just cut those things out, you take that $100 a month and you throw that on the car note as well. See, there's a variety of ways that we can attack that car note and get that thing to disappear, man. And then when that car note disappears, what have you just done? You've given yourself a raise because you freed up more of your money that was going to the car note. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about shifting your income, recouping that cash flow. It was going out to the car note, $300, $400, $500 a month, whatever that note is. Now it's coming back to you, and you can use it to start building wealth. Any more questions? Any more questions? Appreciate that, Sandra. And you're in the St. Louis area, and I'm actually making a concerted effort, Sandra, to make this information a little bit more available to local St. Louisans. I have a team growing here that's really excited, that's really buzzing, and really getting out in the community, doing workshops and things of that nature to really bring this information home to people. You can join this crusade and be part of that local St. Louis movement. I would love to have you on board. Any other questions before we close out? Nope, everybody good? I just have to wait a second because the feed to Facebook is on about a 5 or 6 second delay. Good on Facebook? All right, good on the actual webinar for today. Hopefully you learned something, man. You know, follow me on my social media, Facebook at Financial Health Mentor is my fan page. YouTube, Financial Health Mentor is my YouTube channel. And I just provide this sort of education all the time to help our people understand that there is things that can be done to literally start building generational wealth for you and your family. And when you get you and your family straight, then you can start building generational wealth or helping others build generational wealth for their family. So I'm your main man, H Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the working class. Until I talk to you guys next time, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. Peace out, people.